Let's see, is this thing on? Ah, yes. Hello there! Today we will be embarking on a journey of making a head base, and it's gonna be a lynx. So without further ado, let's go! Like my deranged mannequin head said, we're going to be making a head base. And I wanted to make a lynx just because I wanted to challenge myself with some different shapes. I do this a lot. It's actually really fun. But anyways, first we're going to start with a bucket head. And this is typical for a head base. This isn't a formal tutorial or anything, but basically a bucket head is a cylinder with a rounded top, and it's made out of upholstery foam. When gluing my bucket head together, I like to use these little sewing clips. It makes it a whole lot easier than holding it together with my hands because the glue takes forever to dry. But when you're doing this, just remember patience is key. Next is the roundy bit. And honestly, I'm not sure what to call this because these aren't really straps, but they do act as straps, I guess. Basically, it just holds the head base on your head. Also, can I just say, this is the first time I'm making a head base with a mannequin head, and it is so much easier than doing it without a mannequin head. Like, you don't even have to measure everything and hope that it's correct. You can just put it on the head. Don't do that with your head though, because you could get your hair stuck or burn yourself. You can't see it in the video, but the shape that you want to make out of these strips of foam is like a little cross. To improve the shape on the top of the head, I'm going to fill in these little triangles because it makes it really nice and round and pretty. And remember back to childhood to make sure that these triangle shapes are the right size, because if they're too big, you'll have to trim it. It's not that big of a deal, but if they're too small, it'll really warp the shape. And again, I'm going to use my little sewing clips because it holds it in place a lot better than I can. While my glue is drying, I'm going to start sketching on the eyes, and I'm using a lighter colored marker so that when I make mistakes, it's not as distracting as with my Sharpie. Unfortunately, it wasn't until I used my Sharpie that I realized I left no room for the nose in between the eyes. So I had to redraw it anyways, and it just became distracting like I was trying to avoid, but that's okay, mistakes happen. And next I am going to make the muzzle. I'm gonna glue on the muzzle next, and it looks real funny. This is something I should have done before gluing on the muzzle, but I'm going to cut out the inside of the mouth. This is aesthetic and functional. It makes the mouth look more realistic, but it also allows the wearer to breathe. Next, I'm cutting out pieces for the side of the muzzle so that it looks less flat and more dimensional. For this, I just used the 3-inch foam because I didn't really want to cut it out twice, so I just cut it out once and then cut it in half. Next, I'm going to start sculpting the foam, and this means just trimming down all of the sharp edges and smoothing all of the shapes together to make it look coherent and more like an animal. Personally, sculpting is actually my favorite part. I feel like it's really relaxing when things go right, and I just love seeing things like slowly come into what it's supposed to look like. I'm going to breeze over this version of the eyebrows because, spoiler alert, I'm going to rip them off later. I really didn't like the brow bridge and how it was looking in comparison to the eyes, and it just made the whole thing look really weird. Before I ripped off the brow bridge though, I made the cheeks, and I actually am really happy with how the cheeks turned out. They're exactly the shape I was looking for. The cheeks do require a lot of sculpting though. You have to make sure that they're very smooth and that they blend into everything nicely, which is hard to do, especially since you also need to make the cheeks identical to each other, or at least as identical as you can get them. Also, on these ones, I did round out the inside a little bit so that they would fit onto the face without warping it, and I actually found that that worked really well, so I would definitely recommend that. And now for the moment we've been waiting for. It's time to rip off this brow bridge. Seriously though, I was really happy to rip it off. I mean, obviously I was sad that my work all went down in the gutter, but I was happy to start over because it looked ridiculous. After that, I also started to reshape everything a little bit. I just wanted everything to be a little bit more small and together. So I started ripping things, cutting things, and then gluing them back together so that it was a better shape. After all of the reshaping, I'm going to restart on the brow bridge, and this time I am going to use smaller pieces and kind of jigsaw them together. Something I forgot to take into account is that the eyes are two different shapes. And this is why the old brow did not work on the face. So I started making shapes on the side of the head to match the eyes. And I used paper towel to pattern because it's a whole lot easier than using paper. And doing this made things so much better because instead of trying to make the eyes match the brow, I made the brow match the eyes. And this made the face look real. Right now it looks pretty silly, but trust me, after trimming all of this down and sculpting it, it looks so much better than the old brow. Here in the middle of the process, I decided to try it on and see just how it felt, and I realized that the area for the nose and the mouth was really small, and it needed to be a lot bigger for better ventilation, so I'm just trimming that down now. The inside does look ridiculous though, and honestly that's just normal, that's just how it is, but it is pretty funny to look at. Once the glue from earlier was dry, I started to sculpt the brow line, and I'm taking off a lot of foam to make sure that it blends nicely into the back of the head. I was much happier with this brow line because it made her face look much better. But we still have lots of sculpting to do, so let's get into that. I also gave her some eyebrows to accentuate her expression, because she's supposed to look pretty serious. I also added some transition foam from her jaw to her cheeks. Also, I didn't like the transition from her brow to the side of her head, so I'm going to add another scrap piece of foam to just make that transition cleaner. It's hard to see what I'm doing here because of the camera angle, but I'm basically just gluing on some cheek fluff because lynxes have very defined, very angular cheek fluff, and I wanted to capture that with the foam. This is so that the faux fur has a base and isn't super floppy. The last bit is the ears. For these ears, they have lots of layers because I wanted them to look very 3D. The sculpting was actually really simple because it's basically just rounding everything off. There's not a lot of shaping to do, so it was really relaxing, actually. After installing the ears, this head base is done. And I'm going to do the rest of it in a part 2, so be on the lookout for that. Also, if you're interested, when this costume is complete, it will be for sale on my Etsy as a pre-made. With all that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!